Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with more swatches for you from the brand Native War Paints. I have a Riverdale collection to share with you today. I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen Riverdale, but I do like Cole Sprouse a lot. So if that's any kind of consolation, I've been meaning to start it. I just don't have any kind of time to sit down and actually watch a show. So besides the point, this is based off of the show Riverdale. This 6-piece collection will be releasing on March 2nd at noon Eastern time, so in the description box below I will link the Native War Paints site as well as their Instagram page, and I will also link my Instagram page where I will have more swatches of this collection. Quick note, these will retail for $7 a piece or $35 for the whole collection, and they are also meant to be a water marble collection, so everything in here water marbles beautifully. I did test it out with a few manicures. I'm not the best water marbler. I like to think I am because I can do it really nice while practicing, and then when it comes to the full manicures I inevitably mess it up. So I do have a few water marble manicures going up in my Instagram with this collection if you're interested in seeing that. So without further ado, we have these 6 polishes and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Veronica. Native War Paints describes this as a wine with flecks of red shimmer. So here is our first coat of Veronica, and this goes on really smoothly, really evenly as well. It has a great formula, no running or pulling. These are a little bit on the thinner side. I do find water marbling polishes do tend to be a little bit thinner because they do spread out on the water easier, but this one is not sheer by any means. So here's our second coat, and this one does get fully opaque in 2 coats. It also dries down decently glossy, maybe slightly dull. Either way, you will want a nice glossy top coat. And the amount of shimmer in here doesn't make it streaky or anything like that, either brush strokey, nothing like that. And I didn't have any staining with this one either. So there is 2 coats. Next up we have Cheryl, and this is described as a shimmery lipstick red. So here's our first coat of Cheryl, and this has the same formula that Veronica did. It's a little bit on the thinner side, but it didn't run or pull or make bald spots or anything like that. It is pretty easy to use and manipulate. Again, no staining here either, but I did have some cuticle flooding because I was moisturizing between each swatch, so you will see that a few times in this video and I apologize, but this is completely opaque in 2 coats. Again, it dries decently glossy, though I would recommend a glossy top coat just to make it shine as much as possible. So there's 2 coats. Next up we have Valerie, and this is described as a pale purple with golden and pink shimmer. Here is our first coat of Valerie. And again, this has a thinner formula, but it doesn't run or pull or anything like that. This is extremely sheer though. This is one that will take, I'm going to show you 3 coats today for time's sake, but I did do 4 coats for my swatch photo for opacity. Again, this is easy to use, easy to work with. Nothing wacky happening here. If you don't like the whole nail line thing, you could lay down a white base, though I don't think it needs it. I think this is really beautiful here on just 1 or 2 coats by itself for a nice clean looking manicure. So here's 3 coats, and this gets about 80% opaque on 3 coats, but that shimmer stands out just so beautifully. And again, you will want a nice glossy top coat here, even though I feel like this one does dry the most glossy of the bunch. So there's 3 coats. Up next we have Josie, and this is described as a vibrant purple with violet shimmer. Here's our first coat of Josie, and this one is sheer as well. It's not nearly as sheer as the previous polish was, but it is going to have to be built up in 3 coats, but unlike the last polish, this one does get completely opaque by itself in 3 coats. Again, no running or pulling or anything like that here. So here's our second coat, and this builds up really nicely in 2 coats. If you did thicker coats, you probably could wear this just fine on 2 coats, though I really wouldn't recommend that because, again, these are a little bit on the sheerer side, so if you do too thick of a coat, it will run, but if you do like a moderate coat, I don't do thin coats by any means, but I don't do thick coats, and I didn't have any running or pulling. So here's our third coat, and this does cover completely in 3 coats. This also dries decently glossy on its own. If you want the longevity of it, I still recommend a glossy top coat, and it will also help that shimmer shine just a little bit more. So there's 3 coats. Next up we have Melody, and this is described as a deep purple gray with purple shimmer. Here is our first coat of Melody, and this is identical in formula and everything to the last polish. It is pretty sheer here on this first coat, but it is buildable in just 3 coats on its own without having to do a white base or anything like that, or a base color. You could theoretically layer these over black and that shimmer would stand out a little bit better if that's something that you're going for, but these are really beautiful built up on their own. Again, this is one that, depending on your application, you could get away with 2 coats, though once again I do recommend a little bit of a thinner coat to avoid flooding and running and such. So here's our 3rd coat, and this one does deepen the color tremendously and bring this to full opacity. Again, it dries down decently glossy on its own. That is your discretion to use top coat or not. So there's 3 coats. And lastly for today we have Betty, and this is described as a pale pink with green shimmer. Here is our first coat of Betty, and this is much like Valerie in that it is extremely sheer here on this first coat. This one does build up to opacity though. I'm gonna do 3 coats. I could see maybe just a hint of nail line if I look closely enough on 3 coats, but it's not enough for me to warrant a 4th coat. Again, no running or pulling or anything like that. I do feel like this one was just a tad thicker than the rest of the polishes in this collection, so if you wanted to go in for thicker coats, you could absolutely do so without any running or pulling. The shimmer in this stands out really, really beautifully as well. Here's our 3rd coat, and like I said, this covers probably about 95% on 3 coats. Not a single person would notice any sheerness other than you, and no staining here as well. So there's 3 coats. So of these, I really, really enjoyed Valerie. It doesn't get completely opaque on the nails, but I think 1 or 2 coats of this is just absolutely beautiful for like a blush of color when I'm wanting one of those more delicate manicures. And then I also really liked Veronica because this is beautiful. I mean, so these 2 are my top choices from this collection. And that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this collection. Let me know if you plan on picking it up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you guys again next time.